for him initially. Did you do the logo, redo the logo, or?
Yes. Initially, he was like, "Yo, we got this logo for No Limit Records." So that first OG logo, I did not do that. I don't know who did that, and no diss, but it did look kind of like clip art. You know, it was more like it was two dudes on a tank, and you know, it was cool. But I mean, the concept was cool, but it was kind of basic. It didn't really. It looked a little like clip artish in terms of how it was drawn, and so I think he wanted it more custom. Like he wanted to keep the concept, but just like let's bring it up to date and refine it. Like, you know, cleaner lines, a little less clip artish or a lot less clip artish, and let's put some bullet holes in the tank and rough it up and make it more real. You know, so that's what I did for him. Also, I did photography. You know, like I did a lot of like novice self-taught. I had a 110 camera, a Polaroid camera. You know, I was just learning on my own. I mean, but I always really appreciated a lot. I mean, photographers are artists. I mean, so I appreciate art, you know, the visuals, you know, and so I would take photos for him. Again, would have to really go somewhere on location. Like I remember one night we're out in front of this bail bond spot in Richmond, and it was for the Real Untouchables, What's Really Going On, Casingle. And there's a little throwback term youngsters might not know. Casingle was like a cassette single,
yeah.
And there might be an instrumental, and then maybe a remix or a clean version and a not clean version. And yeah. And it would go in an O card, right, which was just like a sleeve you would slide the cassette in and out of without any plastic case. You know, I'm dating myself clearly. But this is where it
I'm
started,
right there with you, brother.
You know?
Right there.
Right. I mean, I'm over 40 now. I mean, this was when I was like 19, 20, 21. And, you know, I didn't have professional lighting and all this. You know, we made it work. But that's what's dope about it. It's like now in retrospect, that's what's dope about it because we used street lights. We used a basic flash. We used, you know, it wasn't polished. It was like young people just trying to figure out how do we do this? How do we get the right image for the cover? That ended up being the cover of that single that I took. So I did photography like that. I did the No Limit Records logo. Or he wanted a logo for Dope Man Publishing. He wanted a logo for Die Hard Management. I would just draw this by hand. You know, ink it, scan it, would clean it up, you know. Later, through Funky Fat, they taught me more about how to clean up the hand-done art, you know, in like Photoshop. And back then there was a program called Freehand, which I think was kind of a precursor to Adobe Illustrator. That's what we were using originally, you know what I'm saying? But initially, before I even knew the digital stuff, I just did it all by hand. Oh. And then I'd go somewhere like Kinko's Coffee's. There were coffee spots I'd go by the lake in Oakland or in downtown Berkeley, you know, and get them and pay to get it scanned. So then I could give them like a floppy disk with an image of like line art or something. I realized everything I'm saying, hearing myself talk is like so dated, but this is how it all started and went from like everything analog to digital and got cleaned up, and here we are.
Those tapes that you're talking about, and that era, that was what got him all that hard work that he put in, and working with people like yourself. You're part of that history that got him up that ladder. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't get from point A to point B without going through what he went through in the Bay, in Richmond, and those days.
Right.
So you were very fortunate to see the beginning stages of that. Did you ever imagine that he would, you know, be selling 75 million records?
No. I mean, not because of, and again, it's not like any diss. I mean, I don't think I admittedly was even thinking that big in my naive young life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because to put in perspective, at that time in early 90s, like I said, let's say I'm driving Master P somewhere. If he handed me a $20 bill, I was happy. I could fill my tank back then and still get some change back. And then I would be set for like, you know, the week maybe. So I wasn't thinking that big, but I think he was.
What do you remember about Corey Miller at that time?
Yeah, real cool guy. I mean, I remember going with Pete to pick up Silk at, I think it was Deanza, one of the high schools out there in Richmond and Cali, that is, and he was in high school. I don't remember if Corey was in school at the time or what, but, real nice guys. I mean, I remember Corey having this fat diamond ring, and I was like, oh, man, I'm in high school, Can I wear that to the prom? Like I wanted to ball out or look like I was balling out. And he was like, sure, man. I didn't even expect him, to be like, he was just generous. They're brothers, and they acted like brothers, and they fought like brothers, and they played like brothers, and they were very inclusive with me, like, yo, that's the young homie doing art for us. They needed that. I was and am appreciative that they, kind of like took me under their wing, early No Limit.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, like, comment, share. Also go over to UGSforlife.com, download the entire archive, and check out new episodes on Apple Podcasts and Blog Talk Radio.